Welcome, kindreds. It's Jessica TheStoryWitch. I've just been playing around with the lighting because it's like getting dark here, but I didn't want it to like get completely dark and then you wouldn't be able to see me at all. So I'm trying to use like a few different lamps and stuff like that. So hopefully the lighting will be okay and you'll be able to see me and see the cards and everything like that as well. I'm just going to make a little drink of tea. I've got some lovely Moroccan mint tea tonight, which is nice. It's been a lot cooler here in the UK, which is very, very welcome for me. It's been very hot for us, which I know for the rest of the world. Oh, hey Andrea, nice to see you. It's been hot, and I know I've been saying that in loads of videos, like it's so hot, it's so hot. Hey Mara, hey Sarah. What do you mean a proper cuppa? This is a proper cuppa too. I think she means builders. Hey Anya. Hi. So yeah, it's been so hot, but the last, oh thank you. Yeah, it's sadly, this is probably not a super accurate description of it, but it's a bit darker purple than that, but it is starting to fade a little bit already. Although I was in town with my daughter earlier on and we saw this gorgeous rose gold dye, and I was like, that might be a good option too. Hey Nicolette, thanks for joining me. It's so nice to have you here in the circle. I'm just having a little cup of tea. I hope you guys have all got a nice cuppa or something else, something nice and cool to drink if you like. Thank you, Andrea, thank you. I've been like rushing around up until the last sort of half hour, and I just did a little bit of meditating before doing this live stream. I did like an Instagram really quickly, and then just been trying to chill. I was like, bring me some tea to my husband, and yeah, here we are now. So what have you guys been up to? What have you been doing today? It's not quite the dark moon yet. We've got just under 24 hours until the very last. Yeah, my hairdresser actually gave me some like conditioner which has got dye in it in like a little round pot, which I have been using, but I'm not very good at maintenance. I just like things to be really quick and easy. So, but yeah, it definitely does help. It helps. Ah, oh, a storm. I'm so longing for a storm. We've had like some little bits of rain and it is a bit cooler today, which has been lush, but no storms as yet. Day off. Oh wow, Mara, that sounds like a gorgeous day. Yeah, shopping not so much. Sarah. But yeah, a day just kind of journaling and chilling, that would be really nice. A really good way to spend this time. Ah, cool. That's cool. That's interesting. The Greek pantheon was one of the first pantheons that I really kind of read about, because there were some books in my local library which were about the pantheon, so I just kind of devoured all those. And have you seen the Mythic Tarot? You might really like that. That's based on the Greek pantheon. Oh wow. Oh, so we're like a super aggressive storm. Yeah. It's been feeling like we're brewing up to have one here. Not one like that. We don't get those that often in the UK, but you know, like an electrical storm. It felt like it was coming and then nothing happened. So anyway. I'm just waiting for everyone to kind of join who's going to be joining us. And then we'll just start having a little chat about this dark moon. So it is dark moon in Cancer, as the sun is also in Cancer at the moment. And I think Cancer gets quite a bad rap for as signs go, possibly because it is very much a kind of divine feminine sign, and the divine feminine generally gets quite a bad rap in our culture, unfortunately. Yeah, Sarah, I didn't even put mine out. Mine's just on the clothes horse. And with that kind of Cancerian energy, people take it as being, they're like, oh, it's moody. Cancers are moody. And oh wow, that's really interesting, Nicolette. I studied ancient history in university, and just in my first year. Yeah, Mythic Tarot. I managed to get hold of it. If you can still get hold of it, you just keep a lookout on eBay and on like sort of trading like deck trading groups and stuff like that, I'm sure you'll be able to get hold of it. There were quite a lot of copies of it sold, so it's still kind of circulating at the moment. Yeah, what was I saying? Cancer, dark moon. Yes, moody. People are like, oh, Cancer is like a moody and like almost like a kind of overprotective, smothering mother energy and stuff. And it's like, no, that can be. That can kind of be like the reverse side of Cancer. Hi, Claire. But what it is very much about is self-nurturing and protecting your boundaries. You know, if you think of that crab with the hard shell, you know, but also that kind of soft underbelly as well. So Cancerians can be very sensitive, which I think is where the moody bit comes from. And we're all going to be picking up on that energy now in this dark moon, which is also very closely followed by a partial solar eclipse as well. So we're in eclipse season now, guys, so everything's going a bit crazy. And the energy is going to feel a bit weird. And actually, some of the things and the kind of heat and the pressure that is being generated right now, I think. That's hilarious. It may not kind of really explode until the end of the eclipse season, when we get to our full moon and the lunar eclipse towards the end of the month. I think the 27th, I think, depending on obviously where you are and your time zones and things like that as well. So yes, we've got that kind of like pressure cooker feeling, and it's going to maybe feel like this for another 2 weeks of kind of building up. And what's really bonkers with this particular dark moon in Cancer is that it is almost directly opposite Pluto. And Pluto, especially if you study ancient Greek mythology or Roman mythology, any ancient sort of civilizations, Pluto is the planet of transformation, of kind of just being like, no, we're going to completely flip that switch and we're going to do something completely different, and very much kind of personal reinvention as well. So you might be thinking about, you know, getting your hair changed to a different colour, or you know, small things like that as well, but also really massive life changing things as well. So things like quitting jobs and taking a whole new career path direction and things like that. So that sort of energy is around at the moment, that kind of transformational new job, Mari. Yes, cool. And it's brewing, and it's, if you can, try and kind of simmer with that heat and just kind of keep with it until, you know, that full moon at the end of the month. So hey Jennifer, I missed your live stream. It was like in the middle of the night for me. But I hope it went really well. I'm going to be watching it later. I've got about, I think, 40 videos in my watch later at the moment. I keep seeing really cool videos coming up. I'm like, I want to see that, I want to see that, I want to see that. And I just can't keep up with them at the moment. I've got some I want to make. Oh, did it not happen? Oh no. I saw on Facebook that you were doing it. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, okay. But it'll probably not be at a good time for me again, I guess. So Nicolette, you're really feeling that Cancerian opposite Pluto energy is really, you know, total transformation going on, lots of changes, which is good because we sometimes need that kind of push into that new thing, because it can be a little bit scary to just kind of take that leap and just go for it without having that kind of, you know, a little kick in the back sometimes. Kick in the backside. So yeah, what else about this Cancer dark moon? I made a couple of notes when I was meditating about it earlier as well. Yeah, that kind of change and reinvention, explosive energy kind of building up. Ah yes, shadows. Quite often Pluto as well being opposite. So we've got like the sun opposite. No, you haven't missed much, dolls. It's okay. It's good. I've been blathering on about the weather and stuff for about 5 minutes anyway, and what tea I'm drinking and things. So no, we're just now talking about how this Cancer dark moon is going to be bringing all that kind of, those Cancerian ideas about boundaries with that kind of hard shell, but there's sort of the emotional soft underbelly as well, and it's opposite Pluto, so transformational energy. So it's going to be transforming our sense of self, our sense of safety, and our sense of boundaries. So people are going to be doing kind of crazy, it seems, stuff, but most of the time it's things that have actually been building up for a long time, especially since the start of the year. These things have been mounting and mounting and mounting. It might seem like, you know, oh, it's just like I'm doing this on a whim, but it's not. It's actually things that have been brewing up for a very long time. So it's a needed transformation. It is something. But it can also be, with Pluto, it can be that shadow energy. Oh, wow, that's cool, Anya. So yeah, that shadow energy, it needs to be confronted often with Pluto. You know, it is that kind of journey into the underworld. We are going to be going into our own underworld and finding things that maybe we've repressed in ourselves. And sometimes those are the things that actually we really need as strengths, but because, especially with talking about that divine feminine energy as well, those kind of really full, not being afraid to be vulnerable, not being afraid to need things and to want things, and taking up space. You know, as women, sometimes it can be the case that we want to try and almost shrink away, you know, not take up as little space as possible. And like sometimes people will do that by like sort of not eating very much, and so they'll physically shrink, but often it's more like a kind of just sort of kind of hanging on the edges of things like that. So those things are the things that are going to be thrown out if you will let them, with this transformational Pluto opposition of the Cancer dark moon. So are you ready? I'm thinking as well that this is the word that kind of came up for me really strongly in relation to this particular time is boundary. And for some, that might mean kind of loosening the boundaries a little bit and letting yourself out to play. But for lots of people, it's going to be about being a lot more firm about who and what you share and spend your energy with. So it is going to be about kind of saying no to things and not being afraid of saying no. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And like shadow work is so valid because it, I know Lisa did a really good talk about this when she was talking about her reading, how her readings have changed. She's like, sometimes you feel like you've kind of done with shadow work, and you do, I think, if you keep going back to the same issues. But I don't think you are ever done, because it is always kind of spiraling around. So you do bring some things out to light, and it's like peeling an onion. You know, you take one layer off, and then there's another layer, and then there's another layer, and often there's a lot of crying. But it's the things we repress, a lot of our strength as well, and when we can kind of bring those shadows as strengths forward and kind of incorporate them into our conscious self, then we can really start to get serious shit done. So we're forced to be reckoned with then, you know. It's a really powerful thing. And Cancerians and all of us now in this Cancer energy are very powerful. Yeah, Kellyanne's work on shadow work is awesome. She's got so many videos on it, and it is brilliant. Yeah, that's one of the videos in my massive to watch list. Yeah, Kellyanne talks about this so well. Well, she talks about everything so well, to be fair. But shadow work particularly, she's like the queen of shadow work. So yeah, if you don't know Kellyanne, then you should go and check out her channel in general, but also definitely her shadow work information, because it is really on point. So was there anything else? Oh yeah, boundary, kind of keep that in focus, because be thinking about where you draw your boundaries, where you are inviting things in, you know, allow the things that you want to be coming in, but also definitely say no to things. Like if somebody invites you to something, or if somebody asks you to do something, or they offer you something, even something as, you know, as like minimal as somebody offering you a biscuit or something, you know, and you just don't want it, but you feel bad saying no. Sometimes everyone else is having one, you know. It's those small things that give us a chance to kind of practice being like, well, actually, no, I don't want it, you know, checking in with yourself and seeing, do I want it or not? Or if you're normally the one who says no to a biscuit because you feel like you shouldn't have it, check in with yourself. And if you actually want it, then just have the bloody biscuit, you know. So maybe not the best example, but I hope you know what I mean, is that kind of boundaries. So on Instagram, I did a little poll to see which tarot deck I should use for tonight's readings. And it came out as like a 70% Joie de Vivre versus 30% Ostara, which I was quite surprised at because I really love the Ostara tarot. I do. I was surprised at how kind of, it's just awesome. It's absolutely awesome. But Joie de Vivre it is. So I've got that here. And I also grabbed Arwen's Secret of the Mystic Grove as an oracle deck because I know some people prefer to have oracle readings instead of tarot readings. So those are the two decks I've got. I also wanted to show you guys this, which I bought from Beth at Little Red Tarot. But I think it's American, so the timings definitely are. So it's probably available over in the US as well, maybe not just through, it's probably just through Beth over here. And it's like a workbook to work with the moons through this second half of the year, so from July until December. So it's such a wonderful deck, Mara. It's really, I've had it, it wasn't that long after it came out actually that I bought it, and I really, it's playful. In fact, it's a really good deck to kind of go in with what we're doing at the moment because it is playful, but it is definitely a kind of dark underbelly to it as well. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to play out in our readings today. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of recommend this. I've only just started it. Because obviously it's not very far into July yet. But I've had a flick through and it looks really, really good. So yeah, Paulina Cassidy is so good. Her artwork is really, really spot on, but also her understanding of the meanings of the cards and the way she offers, the illustrations offer so many more levels of interpretation as well. I really, really like it. Really like it. You know, you can read it if you can read Rider-Waite anyway, but then it just takes it to another level, which is really awesome. So yeah, if you're fancying a moon workbook, this is good. Not on commission or anything, I just thought I'd show you because I think it's kind of like an indie publication, but it is really good. So yes, I've got my notebook because I found that worked well last time when we were doing this, and I'm going to make a note of anybody who wants a reading in a minute. I'm going to do the general reading first for the kind of time. So yeah, if anybody wants a reading, if you let me know you want one, and also whether you want tarot or oracle, and I will do that. And in the meantime, I'm going to use the Joie de Vivre, I'm going to use the tarot to just draw a card for, and I might take an oracle as well actually to go with it, to just kind of read the energy for this current Cancer dark moon opposite Pluto. Exciting, turbulent reinvention, but keeping our boundaries. Time. I'm kind of excited for it, but also, okay, Mara, if you let me know what you would like, whether you want tarot. I'm saying this now, my pen's not working. Oh, it's working. Okay. So Sarah Tarot. Anya. It's a fantastic oracle deck, Anya, actually. And the reason I like to do this one when I do live readings is because you can read it almost like tarot. There's lots of meanings within the card as well. So sometimes, you know, like I used the Universe Has Your Back, and it was like nothing more to say than what was on the card. That's fine, don't worry, Andrea, it's cool. The decks are, I've got Joie de Vivre for the tarot, and I've got Secrets of the Mystic Grove for the oracle. So either of those is cool. Yeah. Oh, and actually, if you saw my bullet journal setup for this month, and I pulled a card for a crystal for the month, and that crystal was creedite, and I bought some green eyes. I did say, oh, I might just use the energy of the card, you know, rather than actually getting a crystal, but then I found one. So isn't it gorgeous? And that's very kind of creative and reinvention kind of energy. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's so like kind of, I love the shapes of it. It's just berserk. And the light is not really doing that justice. But I'd never used it before. It was a completely new one for me. So that was really cool. Nicolette Oracle. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I would use the universe. Yeah, the universe has your back tarot oracle, and it was just like I was just reading what was on the card, which like you can do that at home. Like what, you know, that's not adding anything extra. So yeah. Oh my gosh, Lisa, hey, so cool that you're here. What time is it with you? Is it like in the middle of the night? I was thinking about you earlier actually when I was looking at this partial solar eclipse which is going to be happening at the dark moon. It's only visible from like the south of Australia and the Pacific Ocean and places around there. 8:21, oh, it's not too bad. First thing in the morning. Okay, so I'm going to take a card, just a general card for this time, and see what we get. Okay, so that's really interesting because if it was going to be oh, well, you know, you could kind of jog on the spot while you're doing it. Yeah, I know Wednesday lunchtime is probably not a great time, is it, for lots of people, but Wednesdays just seem to be a really good day for me to be able to do it. So I think I am going to do these on Wednesdays kind of ongoing, and just the Wednesday that's nearest or the closest to or before the dark moon. So that's, I think, what I'm going to do. Oh, perfect. You can just watch while you're at work. That's perfect, Jen. So, Emperor, I would have expected a more feminine card, which is interesting. But in this deck, that's one of the things I really like about it actually. The characters are very androgynous, and so the energy is slightly more nebulous with them. So looking at this card, we've got the two little like griffins there and the ankh and the crystal ball, and it's not your kind of stereotypical emperor at all. Looks in charge for sure and has the kind of power of that sun and everything, which is interesting with the eclipse coming up too behind him. But there's also that playful energy, which isn't it? It's the boundaries, but the playfulness as well. So that is actually, I'm loving that. I'm loving it. And the balance, you know, it's almost symmetrical, but it's that balance. So yeah, just recapping for Lisa, what we were saying is that this moon in Cancer is very much about our kind of our boundary setting and where we are drawing our boundaries. And also we're kind of, this is the Joie de Vivre tarot. Yeah, Jen. Don't let anyone catch you. But it's that protecting our soft underbellies, but also nurturing ourselves and saying no, you know, using boundaries as a way of nurturing and kind of diving into the shadows. Yes, Paulina Cassidy, of course. I don't know how clear that image, I'm trying, the lighting is so tricky to get at this time of the day in the UK, when it's almost better when it's actually dark, because I can kind of figure it out as I, you know, in the dark rather than as it's getting dark outside. But yeah, there we go. So it is that kind of playful but in control, so allowing your boundaries to be flexible but firm. And I think that Emperor looks like he's really kind of got that nailed. He looks a little bit kind of, he looks like he can still have fun even though he has a lot of responsibility and a lot of power. So, oh good, I'm glad the image is okay for everyone. That's cool. Yeah, let's take one from the Oracle as well. And the Oracle that I'm using today is Secrets of the Mystic Grove. I absolutely love this. I just kind of bought this on a whim, really. And I was earlier on, my friend had asked me about decks, and she said, could I send her a picture of my decks? And I was kind of going through and counting what I had. Yes, I think he is connected to his inner child. All of the characters in this deck look almost childlike as well. But they also have that, I suppose as children do, you know, they almost have that kind of sovereignty. They know that they are valid and worthwhile and that they are powerful before the world sometimes knocks that out of us. Yeah. I love his crooked horns as well. They almost look like antennae. So let's have an oracle card to go with it as well. And that's what we got. Another kind of masculine-y type card as well, with that peacock, but also obviously a beautiful person then as well. It's beauty, but it's confidence, pride, poise and assurance. Yeah. And yeah, we got the 4, it's 14, so we got the 4 in there as well, but also with the 1 we might also be conjuring in a little bit of magician kind of energy into that as well. So the peacock, very beautiful bird. We've got that beauty, but I think the poise is the really important bit. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. So those two actually do go. I don't know why it amazes me still when this happens, but it does. I'm always like, yes, that's so cool. When the cards just go perfectly, you know, they are both very poised, confident, and that is what we will be when we are standing in our power and when we are not afraid of our shadows and what is in our shadows, because we know that whatever is there is only what is in everybody. We're not going to find anything there which is going to make us an awful human being, you know. It's all fine. It's all human. And there will be a lot of good stuff hidden in there as well, in that darkness. So yeah, it's finding that confidence and that ability to say no to things that we don't want to do or feel is overstepping and is going to be taking too much of our energy away from the things that we actually do want to do. Cool. So I've got a few people down for readings. I've got Mara, Sarah, Anya and Nicolette. Oh, exciting, Anya. Storm coming up. So if you would let me know if you would like a reading, and also if you would like tarot or oracle. Yes. And Lisa's doing some fantastic stuff at the moment with the Divine Masculine, which I'm so interested in, because I've literally spent about the last 15 years diving into the Divine Feminine and reclaiming her in myself, to the detriment of my Divine Masculine. So yeah, check out Lisa's stuff on that. I'm really looking forward to more coming on there as well in that Divine Masculine. Okay, oracle for Andrea. Cool. So Mara, tarot. Let's see what is coming up more specifically for you in this dark moon. Okay. Queen of Swords. I love this Queen of Swords. She might actually be my all-time favourite Queen of Swords. And I am the Queen of Swords, so that's saying something. She is... Hey, can you see me? I just disconnected for a moment then. I don't know what is going on with my internet. Can everyone still see me and hear me? Sorry, Mara. Oh, good, good, good. I don't know, I disappeared. I was so excited about this swords that I just disappeared. Good, 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 good. So yes, she is very much able to dig into her shadows. She has got her feet firmly planted on the ground and her sword is on the ground. So her mental energy is very much earthed. She, which is you at the moment, Mara, you're able to think in a very grounded way and use both the kind of the heart. I don't know if you can see. These cards, they're gorgeous, but there's so many like tiny little details in them. You can spend ages just looking at each card. You know, there really is detail on detail. But she's got a tiny little heart dangling off her sword, and she's also got two little skulls. So there's also that access to ancestor wisdom too. And you might be finding that I think you said you're changing a job and going to a new job. There's going to be more opportunity for you to use your mental energy to get more practical, you know, that sword down to earth, to get those things done. Whereas maybe in the job you were in before, it was like kind of lots of ideas and things, but not a lot of actual stuff actually got realised. Whereas this Queen of Swords is very much about actually realising. You're welcome, Lisa. I'm so glad that you joined us here. And I hope you enjoy your exercising. I'm laughing because I hate exercising. I only like yoga or swimming. So yeah, you're using your mental energy to get real world things realised, you know, and it's a very heartfelt, it's a head, you know, head, heart, earth, it's all very much united. So you are in a really good place at the moment to think really clearly and to do the things. And also because, you know, as a queen, people are also taking you seriously as well. Yes. Yeah. It can feel like that, you know, thinking, planning, all that kind of mental stuff. But it's going to be changing now. You are going to be able to actually earth that energy and get stuff done. So I hope that makes sense. It does feel like it's probably going to be work related, but you are going to be this Queen of Swords for the, you know, for this whole moon cycle, from dark moon up to the waxing moon, which is also when we've got our lunar eclipse as well, and then back down to our next dark moon. So really channel her. And if you do decide you are going to get the deck, it's a lovely deck, and it is very reasonable. I haven't looked at it for a little while, but I don't remember it costing very much money when I bought this deck. So yeah, yes, I love that card so much. Okay, so Sarah, and Sarah also wants tarot, and I know Sarah also has this deck. Yeah, go and jump on Amazon now and get it. Yeah, you won't regret it. It's wonderful, wonderful deck. So, Sarah, what is coming up for Sarah in this next moon cycle? Okay. Sure you can, Pippa. Just let me know if you want Oracle or Tarot, okay? So 8 of Coins, and we've got a kind of foxy character there doing some conjuring over a cauldron, and those coins are just kind of lingering around. It's definitely kind of witchy, witchy magician, you know, again, very hard to tell any kind of gender. And what also is lovely about this deck is that in the book, it's only a little white book that comes with it, but each of these characters has they have a name and a kind of, not a story because it is only a tiny little, That's awesome, Sarah. And 8 of coins, that's what I was going to say, is that obviously 8 of coins is very much about making practical magic, about doing things with your hands and practicing and making physical things from your ideas with your hands, which is exactly what this fox is doing here. Using your intellect too, obviously, because you've got that whole fox association there as well. So yeah, it's going to be a good month for you for kind of exploring your practical creativity and seeing how I'm jealous now, Anya. I really want it to be raining here too. I'll just have to take the coolness, I think, the slight coolness. And it's still hot. We're still like 20 degrees, which for us is loads. Yeah. I think that you need to be thinking about what you're going to kind of be turning this into. But you don't have to think about that right now. You can just be making the things, you know. There's no plan at the moment of what these are going to be. It's just it's bringing them into being, creating them. There it is. Hang it there. There it is. Hang it there. You know, there will be something that they all come together into later on. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. Beautiful card. And you can read what it says about it in the book as well later, because I know you've got it. But yeah, I wish you would bring out almost like a bigger book with more story about all of these. But like each one has, you know, like a little bit, but they do all have names. Even the, oh, lovely. That sounds cool. Yeah, I saw your cross stitch on, and Sarah actually made this owl. Sarah, who's here in the room now, she's the one who knitted this owl. She's very, very clever at making, especially like fabric craft things. So yeah, and she's got a shop which she can tell you about as well in the in the comments, in the chat. So she does make cool things. I've also got a mermaid, but she's a little bit far out my grasp to grab her now to show you. Haha. So, Anya. And Anya wanted oracle. Pippa, did you say tarot or oracle? You probably told me and I wasn't taking any notice. I'll do Anya's oracle reading while we're here. Okay, so Anya, who's enjoying some wonderful stormy rain at the moment. What is coming up this month? Listen. And it says paying attention, dialogue, communicating. And in the picture, I'll turn it back around to you again in a moment, Anya. In the picture, there's a woman and a bird, and neither of them are actually speaking, but it's almost like they are communicating with each other wordlessly. And I feel like you're going to get lots of intuitive hits this month. You're going to be almost picking things up from every single connection you make, and every person, animal, insect. These cards have got so many layers of lovely things in them. Lots of birds, lots of flowers and things. You can even dive into the symbolism of those things in there too. But it's saying listen on that kind of, and it, you know, on a yes, divine yes, but also to the mundane as well, you know, to the normal people, that sometimes it could be easy to almost rush through conversations with them, but sometimes people will prompt thoughts in you. They can come from the most unexpected sources, but yes, you're going to be just sourcing information, listening to everything. And when you aren't, it would be really cool if you could get outside and just like listen to the birds and listen to the kind of heartbeats of the earth, you know, really tune in, because that is where you're going to receive that communication that you're looking for. It seems like you are looking for it. You're looking for some guidance. And if you listen, you will find it. So I hope that is helpful. These cards are just all so beautiful. Okay, Nicolette. Yeah. Sounds as well. They're so important, aren't they? They can really... Yeah. You know, you can tell the seasons from the sounds. You can tell the weather without anything else, just the sound. Where you are. I love it. So, Nicolette, what is coming up for you this month? And you've got the card which we pulled for the kind of general energy of this month. Ah, yes. And the birds in this deck also obviously have their whole kind of rich symbolism, and the flowers as well. And there's like sometimes there's also fruit and things like that. So you can kind of dive really deeply into each of those things. The book for this is quite small, but it has a fair amount of information, and also like journal or discussion prompts, which is really cool because they are quite deep. They can take them, you know, they can take your kind of understanding of the card much deeper. Yeah, and this deck is really rich with that. It's wonderful for that. So, confidence, poise. And she does, you know, she just looks like she's not kind of asserting herself in an at all aggressive way. It is just being kind of, hey, Miss Tracy. So cool to have you here. Lisa was just here, but she had to go and do her exercise, and she said it's very early in the morning for her. So, confidence. I tell you what, I will read what is in the book, as it is our card for this cycle, this moon cycle as well. Let's see what it says. Pride, poise, assurance. Oh, there we are. You can see that. The peacock, sacred to Hera. We're getting back into our mythology again, our Greek mythology. Nests in the hair of the blue-eyed woman because he recognizes her as one of his own. The bird is her mentor in how to be her most confident self. She holds herself with pride. The colour orange represents adventure and uninhibited exuberance. She owns her own vitality, holding the orange blossom as a promise of what is to come. Her self-assured gaze is irresistible. Anyone coming into contact with this woman will know right away that she is someone to respect and to love. So yeah, that is kind of the whole, you know, she's not in an aggressive way. It's just that air of confidence all about her. She is the homecoming queen who has gone on to be the CEO of her own successful company. Yeah, show up. Totally, totally. You are being reminded of the power of confidence, the freedom that comes from not worrying. And obviously this card obviously is for Nicolette, but also it is our general card. So this is you know, relevant for all of us here at the moment. The freedom that comes from not worrying about the opinion of others is a heady thing. Focus your work on doing what is best for you. Now is the time to cast aside the filters of what others think you should or shouldn't do. You can only be you, so do that well. Straighten your spine and steady your gaze. If you can, find a peacock feather to remind yourself of your own magnetic beauty. So that's a little bit of homework there. I think I've got one in my feather duster actually. And the journal prompts are, what does confidence mean to me? How do I respect myself? What message of self-assurance do I offer myself? Yeah, and I think it also is very much tied up with that whole Cancerian boundaries, you know. When we are strong in our boundary, people can respect that and they will see that and they won't overstep the mark, but then they will also include us. Yeah, definitely journal those journal prompts. They're really helpful. I also find them quite good as well to use them then to do more spreads with. So you could use those 3 questions. What does confidence mean to me? How do I respect myself? And what message of self-assurance do I offer myself? You could then pull a card for each of those as well and do like an additional spread from just the one card, which is kind of a cool, you know, way to take it a little bit deeper as well. Yeah. So, Nicolette, that sounds like a very interesting month coming up. That whole kind of poise and being seen, most definitely being seen. So showing up. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like you're not going to be able to not, you know, you're not exactly blending into the background with a massive peacock on your head. And I wonder what that orange blossom is. You know, she's holding on to it as a sign of things to come. So it does seem like, yeah, a new job. There is definitely new things coming. So yeah, you'll probably have a better idea of what that is by the end of this moon cycle too. So I hope that was useful. Oh, Andrea, and that's Oracle 2. So let's see what is coming up for Andrea this month. You're welcome. Usually, if I'm taking a card for Andrea, I like it to jump because that is how she does hers. But, oh, half the deck just jumped out of my hands. But I'm not going to count that because it was literally about 8 cards. Oh, there we go though. Okay. Well, we just can't get away from this, can we, at the moment? So we have red. Hey, Anna, so lovely of you to join us. It's mad, isn't it? There's 40 cards, I think, in this deck. Does it go up to 14? 44. There are 44 cards in this deck. And yet, here we are again. 3rd time from this deck. So this is really something that we are all experiencing collectively. Hey, 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 hey. And we are having to do that showing up that Nicolette is working on this year. We are not blending into the background. We are just being ourselves, loud and proud. Yeah, I know. And sometimes, Andrea, it's hard when you don't feel it. But what I think is important is that it is not an arrogant pushing yourself in the face of things confidence. It is a just being confident within yourself and letting, almost inviting, I guess, you know, people will interact with you then because you don't have to be kind of pushy. The way that we experience confidence often in our kind of patriarchal society is that way of being, you know, the loudest one in the room almost. And this is not that. This is that that assurance of self. And it's hard to feel like that all the time. No one feels like that all the time. We all have times when we feel less than sure of ourselves. But usually that is because somewhere along the line our boundaries are being crossed and we are not honouring, you know, what is inside us. And if we can figure out what those things are, yeah. And things they will come up again and again, you know, like we were saying with the shadow work, it's not something that just pops up and then goes away. It doesn't work like that. It is something that we will have to revisit again and again. And it's usually when we are feeling more confident that these things will pop up, and it's almost like a kind of challenge then, you know, and we do have to re-examine it all again when we thought we had it all worked out. But you can do this, you can do it, you already are this. It's just kind of, yeah, you know, finishing that lesson, taking, not even finishing it, you know, it's taking it to it's taking it up a notch every time. It's taking it up a notch, up a notch, up a notch. You know, we are learning and understanding in a much deeper way every single time. So even though you may not be feeling confident at the moment, you are still, you still are whole. You still are beautiful. You know, it is that self-assurance. And she doesn't, if you look at her face, yes, Anya, I definitely will. Let me just write that down so I remember to do it. I'll read them out for you. I'll read the whole thing out for you. So yes, it can be tricky sometimes. And maybe doing those journaling prompts and perhaps taking it further, especially that one about showing up for yourself. And you could add an extra question. I would add an extra question to that. So we had, what does confidence mean to me? Which I think is very important, because it definitely does mean different things. And it looks different on this card than how perhaps we would perceive it in society at the moment. And how do I respect myself? What message of self-assurance do I offer myself? But you could add in, if you wanted to, you know, you could add in a, like, why am I not feeling self-assured at the moment, or what is blocking me from feeling self-assured at the moment? And you can add, you know, you can build that out into a sort of 5-card spread that way then, and dive a little bit deeper into what is going on with you at this present moment. To the world, Andrea, though, you okay, all right, so you know, so how can you move on then from it? That would be the question. Yeah. It's almost harder when you know, because, well, it's definitely harder when you know. Yeah. To the world, I was going to say, to the world, and like on your channel and everything, you just exude. Hey Matilda, don't tell me, because I haven't obviously watched the end of it now, so I don't know what's been going on. Yeah, and it might not go away, it might not ever, it might just be a how can I feel, how can I be confident and whole in myself whilst this is still an ongoing thing for me. You know, it's people are always like, oh, you've got to move on from things and you've got to do, you know, this, but actually it's sometimes it's just living with those realities in our life. Yeah. So I hope that was helpful. 3 times. For people just joining us in the last little while, this was the card that I pulled, which is from the Secrets of the Mystic Grove Oracle. And I pulled this card as the kind of energy of this moon cycle, this whole kind of dark moon to full moon, back to new moon cycle that I just said. And it came out for that, and then it came out again for somebody else in a reading, and then it came out, in fact it came out for Nicolette, and it came out again for Andrea. So far there's only been one other different card that's come out from this oracle deck of 44 cards. And honestly, I am using all 44. It's so strange, isn't it? That energy must be very much around us at the moment now as well. It just is coming up again and again and again. People who've just joined us as well, if you do want a reading, let me know whether you would like an oracle reading with the Secrets of the Mystic Grove, or the tarot deck that I have here is the Joie de Vivre. And we should be able to, what are we on? We're almost at an hour actually already. How does it happen like that? So I'm going to do Pippa's tarot reading. Yeah, I'm interested to see Jen as well. And Anna, would you like tarot or oracle? Now I Passlinger Days. Not too late, Tracy. No, not at all. I'm just gonna have to say Paslinger, I think. And Pissy. So let me know if you want tarot or oracle, guys. I'll do Pippa's tarot first. So Pippa. Oop. I think I'm gonna shuffle them long ways in case it makes a difference. So Pippa, what's coming up for you in this lunar cycle? Leonie, that is much easier. Knight of Swords. Yeah, I love this deck so much. The characters they're all a little bit kind of human stroke animal. You're never quite sure exactly what it is. And also they're very kind of gender ambiguous, gender fluid as well, which is so kind of cool. Yeah, and so we've got Knight of Swords, and he is very excited about an idea that he has got, or she. When you read the book, it doesn't give you a little bit more of a clue whether they're male or female. I'm saying he because it is the knight. And he is, look at the flower that he's got there on his head. He has got a hold of a really exciting okay an exciting idea, and it's time you've got a hold of an exciting idea as well, and you are going to be taking this now in a much more proactive way and really kind of blooming it like this flower. So it is, if it's probably something work related or like kind of businessy related, and you're going to be, like I said, you're not actually going to be yeah, well done, Mara. I've done that a couple of times. Click buy. I do it with books so bad. Yeah, it's not going to be a time for really kind of stopping and holding back and thinking it through. It is time now to use that momentum and really look how the sword is up in the air as well. It's almost like, hey, you know, hey, look at this, look at this. It doesn't look at all aggressive. It just looks like excited, you know, it's like, check out this idea. So it's time for you to start telling people, and you will probably find that when you do share it with people and really kind of share your enthusiasm and your excitement about what it is that you're planning, your kind of creative plan, then they are going to want to join in your crusade as well, and they will be like, yes, do it, this is a really, really good idea. So you can definitely run with it. Try and gather some supporters, and you might find that you might get some help or some kind of support from unexpected places as well. So don't be afraid to let your idea kind of really shine out for everyone. Okay, and see, you'll be surprised. Will be like, yes, and you know who can help you with that. You know, people are going to be linking things up for you, and you're going to be a lot clearer at the end of this cycle of how you're going to move forward even further from this point onwards. So I hope that is useful. So Leonie, did you want to have everyone else down now who's left as oracle? Shall I take it out, do you think? It somewhere. I could find a flat enough surface to do it. The sofa's not really ideal for... There we go. So, Jen. Yeah. Well, we all have that because that is our card that we pulled for all of us, along with the Emperor card from the Joie de Vivre as well. So we're all going to be channeling that kind of... okay. That sounds really exciting. Yeah, Pippa, running women's circles is an interesting, interesting endeavour. Sarah and I sort of co-run our local red tent, but we're having some changes at the moment in how we're doing them. So, Jen, what is coming up in this cycle? Oh, there we go. We haven't got confidence. We've got almost at the very end of the deck, so kind of a more of a completion kind of vibe going on there. We've got 43, unity. Isn't that a gorgeous, gorgeous card? Look at those birds and those flowers. It's just absolutely beautiful. And the smaller words underneath says connectedness, harmony, equilibrium. Oh no. Can you guys not see me? I'll hold that up again, Jen, to see if you can see it. Hopefully my internet is not disconnecting again. Oh, good. Can you see it now, Jen? Oh, good. Okay. Hopefully it's Jen's internet then, and if she'll be able to see this. If I keep holding this up, she'll be able to see it when we come back. I did lose the connection earlier on. It went a bit squiffy. So yeah, we've got two gorgeous birds, and the whole kind of, it just looks idyllic. It looks like yeah, but my internet was not being great. It's not so great where we live now, to be honest. This house, we've been here almost 2 years now, and not like quite long actually, and the internet is so much worse than where we were living before, but it's a much nicer location, so you know, rough with the smooth and all that. So unity, let's see what it says in the book, shall we? You know, it's already saying wonderful things. It looks like it could, with the two birds, I'm seeing a kind of potential for it to be almost a romantic unity as well, but it can also be like resolution of just of like body and mind, you know. It's those kind of not fighting against ourselves. That's what that card means, you know, is kind of saying to me for you at the moment, is that kind of, you're not feeling the need to give yourself that kind of negative self-talk and things like that. Now you are appreciating that your mind and body are all you. And let's read what it says in the book. Yes, Jen, this is your card. Sorry. Unity. Let's see what it says in the book, because Arwen says it better than me. Unity, connectedness, harmony, equilibrium. I'll do this for you, Anya, as well, for yours and for everyone who has an oracle. A beautiful indigo banner threads its way amongst the peonies and vines, connecting everything into one unified scene. A pair of chickadees perch while butterflies hover here and there. The spirit realm is represented here by the transparent creatures. This is a state of Zen. Nothing disturbs the simple peace of being. The adult birds work together in harmony to care for their young. This is an example of how we can all be if we just accept our place in the kingdom of the animals. Each gets what they need while never taking too much. It's a state of equilibrium we could all strive for. This is the concept of unity. And that's so beautiful, that idea of the two adults taking care of the young, working together to do that. That's gorgeous. Honour those in your life. Put them in their rightful spots. This is not about being ahead of others. It isn't about being right. The truth here is that the companionship you are looking for may be closer than you think. If you can stop fighting for what you think you deserve, you may find that you already have what you need. Let your focus be about the group rather than the individual. Sometimes the we is more important than the I. Take a page from the bird's book of life and flock together. Being a unified front can gain you more than being one voice alone. Yeah, but like I said, I was getting the feeling that it can also very much mean that unity within ourselves as well. So not fighting with ourselves, feeling that kind of sense of unity and connectedness of purpose within. The prompts are: who are the most important people in my life right now? How can I help maintain harmony in my relationships? In what ways can I put the focus on what's good for the group? But yeah, you might find those questions more or less useful for you. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Unity, you know, unity of everything, so that we are, and like when we feel like that, it's so much easier to be understanding it and connect with others as well, because when we're kind of fighting within ourselves, it's really hard to be able to be open to having those connections with other people. Hey Elaine. So I hope that was useful, Jen, and that you could see the card eventually. So Anna, Oracle 2. And then I've got Leonie and Tracy for Oracle as well. If anybody else would like one, you're going to need to get in quickly because we're going on a little bit now. But as long as people don't mind, that's okay. I like for people to have readings if they want to have them. So, Anna, what's coming up this month for you? Oh dear. Okay, so it says conflict, discord, disagreement, and common ground. So in this card, there are two birds, as there are most of these cards, or lots of these cards in this deck, and they are not quite seeing eye to eye. They're not fighting, but there's a disconnection there, you know. So it may well be that at the moment there's a wall, you know, there's a block between you and, it looks like, a kind of significant other, you know. It can be really difficult, especially when there isn't actually, like, you can't, it's almost like you don't understand why this conflict or this discord is happening. It's like you thought you really understood this person, you kind of knew what you both, you thought you were in sync with each other, but now you are not, and you don't really know what's happened or why that's happened or how that has happened. So it's not easy, but sometimes somebody's got to be like the first person to actually speak out and say, like, hey, this is not working out, you know, it's not, something's gone wrong. Because unless you kind of acknowledge it, then you can't heal it. And kind of just hoping that they're going to notice, if you kind of give them a bit of a cold shoulder and huff about a little bit, hope that they're going to notice. It's, oh, sorry, is the sound not good? I hope you can hear what I'm saying. But basically what I'm saying is that you need to communicate, actually communicate with words to this person what you are feeling is wrong. You need to be doing what we were talking about at the beginning of this energy now, and setting your boundaries and saying, look, I don't like it when you do this, or you should do more of this, you know, being really clear. You can't expect them to just know or sense it from your cues, which seem really, really obvious to you, but because you're such an empath, you know, you can understand those sort of cues. But this person does not understand what you're not saying. They don't understand what you're not saying. They're oblivious to it, you know, to this discord. They can probably know that you're not completely happy, but not even really, they might not even know that. You're going to need to speak to them about it. Okay? So I hope that makes sense, and that you can find the kind of courage, the confidence, so we're going to go back to that card, to just speak out and say you need to communicate your needs. Okay? So sending you lots of love and blessings with that. And if if you do, you're both still in this beautiful space, you can make it work. You just need to be able to voice it. Okay? I hope that is useful. And that is one of the good things about this deck as well, is that there are cards that are more challenging, because we have moments of our life which are more challenging. It's not all kind of sweetness and light. So this deck is The Secrets of the Mystic Grove. It's this. And it's fantastic. You're welcome, Anna. I really hope you find some resolution. Okay, so Leonie and Oracle. Is that right? I hope so. Let's do it. So, Leonie, what is coming up for you this month? Wow. I love this card so much. It's like, it is almost you can see into the future right now. It says look ahead, visionary, planning, preparation. And when I get this card, I always get really excited, because it's like, it's not looking ahead as in like to next week. It is really like looking ahead to the whole next phase of your life. It's really like you'll have like those, oh yes, those really awakening moments of just being like, yes, that you couldn't quite put your finger on it before, but now you can get a lot more clarity. Like, look at that. It's just like focused. And don't let people distract you. Even if they're sitting in your antlers, the people that you're responsible for and that you love, you can still do all the things you need to do to take care of them. But you also need to focus on you and where you're going as well. Okay, so it's not a case of having to like kind of go off and meditate in a cave for a week. You will, oh good, that's really good, thanks Leonie. So you will be, you can't do that anyway. You have responsibilities that you need to take care of, but you will be able to, yeah, it's such a Cancerian vibe, that kind of nurturing versus the kind of, not versus, but as well as the taking care of our own needs kind of vibe too. Yeah. And it does very much fit with what we were talking about right at the very start, when I said that this dark moon in Cancer is opposite, almost exactly opposite to Pluto, which is that planet of transformation and change. And so lots of us are going to be having those kind of like big life-changing, move to a different country. But it might show up in smaller ways too, like dyeing your hair. But there are going to be these massive transformations and changes happening for everyone. But definitely you're going to have, Leonie, those insights in this lunar cycle. So just be open to them. Maybe if you've got like a meditation practice or a journaling practice, things like that, you will be able to receive. Or if you aren't even in a place to be able to do things like meditation and journaling, if you have got a lot of home responsibilities, then just in those little nooks and crannies of the day, try and find the time. It's almost like it's going to come to you anyway, so just be open and ready. Okay, oh thank you, Elaine. So I hope that is useful. Shall I read you the journaling prompts for that, for 20? So it says, where do I want to be in a year? How can I prepare myself now for my preferred future? Who can I ask for help in making plans and preparations? And if you have got people you're responsible for, which is what I'm very much feeling like you have, it is, yes, look at that. Yeah. It is you might need help, and you need to be able to ask for that help that you need as well. And you might be surprised that there will actually be ways to find you some more time and space if that is what you need. So I hope that's useful. So all I've got left now, I think, is Tracy, who's going to have an oracle, and Isiriak, who has tarot. So if anybody else wants one, then speak up fairly soon, because we are running on really long now. So let's do Tracy's oracle. Tracy, about 4 of your videos in my watch later at the moment as well. I've got so many things I want to catch up on. I want to watch that tag that people are doing. I think I saw you and Lisa doing it, from Sparkle Divine Tarot. I might get a chance tomorrow, you never know, hopefully. So Tracy, what is this lunar cycle, this Cancer dark moon and the eclipse season got in store? Okay. Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely. Celebration. And it says celebration, bliss, joy, delight. And in this one, the bird is roosting in her hair, as happens in lots of these cards. Gorgeous. And all of those flowers. It's a kind of culmination card, you know. It is a pat on the back time. You have, you know, you've worked hard to get to this point, and you can now begin to kind of see all that effort and things that have paid off in your relationships as well. You know, that those kind of the times where you have given more, even though you knew you were giving more, and it would be very easy to be resentful of that and be like, well, yeah, resentful and bitter about it. And you haven't been. You have given freely, and that is now blooming, you know, because the love that you've given out has been unconditional, and so your rewards are going to be unconditional too. And it may not be like a huge party type celebration, although sometimes this card can come out when there is like a special birthday or some sort of event happening too. But it feels more like you can celebrate yourself. You really feel like you are in a place where you recognize how awesome you actually are, which is very, very nice. So let's see what the book says for journaling prompts for that. And it's a pheasant in her hair, and it's a symbol of good luck. Her expectation is that life should be celebrated as a gift rather than endured as a problem, and that is definitely a very cool attitude to take, and I feel like that is why you're celebrating, is because you have been taking that attitude. This card reminds you to look for the delights of your life. It can be challenging to find happiness during times of trial and sorrow. Celebrating can feel like we are not paying attention to all the things that are wrong. Still, how can we ever truly understand contentment if we have never gone through hardship? Trust in your ability to draw breath even in the worst of times. By never giving up your search for bliss, you show your own dedication to finding luck even when the clouds loom. That sounds cool. And the journal prompts are: what is the hardest thing to endure right now? What is the smallest bit of happiness I can hold on to? Where do I need to look to find even more joy? This is really interesting. And yeah, like I said before, you can do cards, you know, you can pull cards for those prompts too, to kind of get a little bit more illumination for them. But it does feel more to me like it is kind of celebrating the small things, but it's because of your attitude and the way that you have been, you've been that Cancerian, Taurian, I know, but it's that nurturing, you know, you've given it out, you really have. Yeah, so I hope that is useful. And Isiriak, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, I'm so sorry, I hope I'm not saying that wrong. So let's get the joie de vivre back. And see what card is going to come out for you for this lunar cycle. There's been a lot of kind of masculine energy in these cards tonight, even though there's that very strong Cancerian, you know, with a Cancer sun and moon at the moment. Can everyone still hear me? Everyone's gone a bit quiet. I hope you can. So, what is in store? Syriac this month. Oh, and that is so lush because that is, yes, tomorrow evening, Elaine. Yeah, I think 7:05 or 7:10, around that time tomorrow evening, and then the solar eclipse follows just after. So right at the very start of this session, I pulled 2 cards for the energy of this time, and one of those was the Emperor card from this deck, and now this is the card for Isariak at the end of this session, and we've got the Empress, which is just a beautiful, beautiful card for this Cancer dark moon, because she is the embodiment of that powerfully but not aggressively nurturing unconditional love. And wow, look at that Empress. She's got her big heart on her shield, which looks almost, and an ankh inside that heart too. She has a staff with a triple moon on it. She also has hearts, and she does look bad. You would not want to mess with her. She has got hearts all around her, and she's also got the skulls, which are a reminder of our roots and our ancestry, and how what has come before will influence us, and also how we will be influencing the next generation as well. And she is standing on a little crescent moon flower in this field of just gorgeous, gorgeous bounty and beauty. And this card is very much a, whatever you want to do right now, you can do that, because you can basically create anything that you want to. You are totally fertile with ideas, with abundance just in general. You know, you're abundant in heart and spirit as well. You know, you are able to nurture and inspire those around you. You are protected, but you're also sharing your heart. You know, it's no accident that this heart is there on the shield. It's almost, it is that vulnerability, that power in vulnerability. You know, it's like Brené Brown talks about this a lot, you know, about being, it takes so much courage to be vulnerable, but to, if you can muster it, it is such a powerful place. And this month for you, you are going to be in that powerful place. You are going to be able to share your heart with people, but also be able to nurture others as well. And that is just wonderful. I also feel like you're going to be, there will be like family gatherings and celebrations and things going on as well, where you will be in connection with the people who you feel are your people, you know. So it's a good chance to be rooted in that as well, in that kind of the roots, you know, your roots. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense to you. It's going to be a super abundant time, so I hope you really enjoy it and really kind of revel in it, really. Yeah, I love that Empress. She's even got in her hair a bird's nest with eggs in it too, and all little stars just dancing around her head like a crown of stars. Oh wow, that's wonderful. Yeah, so actually kind of connecting with your actual roots. Yeah, with those who kind of brought you into this world. And that, even though obviously they are your roots, you have obviously taken this to a whole new level as well, and you're blooming new things, but always grounded, you know, in that, in you know who you are and where you come from. And that just makes you even more wonderful and even more effortlessly, gracefully powerful, wonderful. Don't be afraid to share your heart. Yeah, it's that power in vulnerability. Gorgeous. So I think that was everybody who wanted a reading has had one. It's been wonderful to have you all here and sharing this kind of dark moon, pre-dark moon time, because it is tomorrow in the UK, the dark moon will be. I'm going to do these regularly on Wednesdays instead of the Wednesday around the dark moon, because I know it's been confusing for people with times, although I know that Wednesdays are not great for lots of people in the US because it's kind of lunchtime for them usually when I'm doing them. But we will see how we go anyway. So I hope that's going to work for people. Thank you so much for being here. I do have a little poem that I wanted to share with you, which is from the wee moon, and it's called Today's Teachers, and I really just felt like it was, I loved it really, so I just wanted to share it with you to kind of close off our circle. Today's Teachers. The sun rises and spreads its body through green forests and skyscrapers, caresses junkyards and meadows. Water lies in lakes and holds turtles, cradles ocean sharks and plastic cups, comes out my spigot hot and cold without my uttering a word. Trees shade women talking on lunch break, and the moon stays up with me when I can't sleep. We don't have to notice this world to receive. Tonight, when I offer evening prayers, I was taught by 1,000 teachers I may have never noticed or thanked. A fat moth lands inside a white trumpet, her Art Deco wings opening like twin curtains to reveal a velvet body. I will remember to kneel beside her and accept the moon-soaked dew into my hands and bow over and over to the ordinary blessings of life. And that is by Stephanie A. Sellers in the 2018 edition of the Wee Moon Diary. And I just loved that, because even though there are some things in there that, like the plastic cups in the ocean and things like that, it is so real. It is the... Oh, thanks, Andrea. Thank you. I love to read. It's that everyday magic, that just wonderful wonderfulness of just being alive in this world right now, however imperfect it is. And that is kind of what I wanted us to carry with us this lunar cycle, is that even though we are necessarily, you know, always a work in progress, it's, and the world too, you know, is not perhaps as perfect as we would like. It is just right as it is, and if we can recognize that and recognize that magic, then you know we are made. So yeah, thank you so much for being, and I will see you